Bro. Alright, so, sorry if I sound tired. Mystery Clown Project 1. Here he is. A little bit of backstory before I get into this. Whenever I lived with my father, I had a small collection of clown dolls. This doll right here, his name is Gimbo. He was the biggest doll that I had amongst my small collection. I love him to death. He was my favorite. And what happened was, and how he broke into a bunch of little pieces, my room was a loft in my dad's house, and I kept all my stuff up there, and whenever I was moving out, he put him and a couple other of my clown dolls in a garbage bag, and without thinking, he dropped it from my loft to the floor and he shattered. It wasn't his fault. I don't blame him for it. He just wasn't thinking. And I tried to salvage what I could of his head, but I know it being a bunch of itty bitty little pieces, there's no way I'll be able to put him back together. So in this video, we're going to be making a new one. And if I'm being honest, I'm actually glad that this one won, because for the 300 subscribers special, thank you by the way, I'm actually really giddy about that. Y'all have no idea. But I'm actually glad that this one won, because I've been really wanting to get into fixing him. He's just been sitting in my drawer for like, I don't know, half a year, and he deserves a new head and new feet. He's just a little lad. See, you can see how scuffed and busted his feet are. His hands are fine. They just need a little bit of cleanup, and I did do that before I glued his foot back on. Goodness, my voice is cracking so much. It's awful. And I also washed his clothes. I love his clothes. His clothes are so cute. I also love how poseable he is. I tried to sit him down. I mean, I say he's poseable, but he ain't really. It takes him a minute for sitting. So on to the next thing, where I clean his clothes. So what I did to clean his clothes, I just filled up my bathroom sink with some warm water, and I put some soap in there. I didn't film me putting soap in there. I thought the camera was on whenever I was like doing the soap part, but it wasn't, and I didn't get that footage, but it's alright. Right here, I was like testing whether or not the spots would smudge, because on one of the sleeves, some of the green spots look like they've been smudged from like, I don't know, water damage maybe, or probably somebody took some like alcohol to it. I don't know why they were like that. I bought him and those spots were already like that. If any of his spots do smudge like that and they get worse, I'll just try and see if I can fix them with some paint. I know that would be tedious, but anything for this little guy. Here I am like thinking the spots on the back of the sleeve weren't like that. They were just always like that. I thought I had messed them up, and like it was something wrong with that sleeve specifically, because the other spots were fine. It was just those green spots on that one sleeve. I don't know. What do you guys think? How do you, like, is there anything about these clown dolls specifically, like with the paint on their clothes or the dye? Just, I don't really know much about this guy. I don't really know the history for him. I haven't really looked into it, because anytime I buy something from an antique store, especially with my dad, he's always like, check the price on that thing, and that's literally the only thing that I know about him. So this is me cleaning up his head and all the other glass pieces. I think the dirtiest part of this little guy was probably like the bottom of his feet. When I bought him, there were price stickers there, and I took them off, and I didn't really clean the residue of the stickers off very well, and dirt just kind of got stuck to it. But he's okay now. He's all clean, and I could get to gluing his foot back together, and after that, finally start working on fixing him up with some air dry clay. But before I get into actually working on his like shoes and his face, I decided to take his clothes out of the sink and like kind of squish them, get all the excess water out. I did rinse them after I got them out of the dirty water. After that, I hung them up to dry, like over my bathtub. I don't really like to put doll clothes in the dryer. I'm always scared I'll mess it up and have the clothes ruined. So that just means I'll check on the clothes tomorrow. Now we can move on to the next bit. Design. Now for Gimbo, I wanted to keep him as close to his original design. I couldn't find this doll specifically, but I found one that looked super similar to him. The only difference between him and Gimbo is I'm pretty sure that this doll is super small, has a different outfit, but his head was very similar to his. And I kind of played around with it, like, oh, what if he had a different facial expression? I know that as a character and the way that I draw Gimbo, he's always always sort of kind of been like this nervous, to himself guy. So I played around with his expression. I kind of like wanted to see what he'd look like if he was sad. I didn't like that, so I didn't go with that. I kept his like rounder head. I know I wanted him to be round. And I kept his hair fluffy too. I'm really excited to get into his hair because how I drew him, I gave him like more hair than he originally had. And here I am, like I said, playing with his emotions. Like I kind of gave him a sad face because I've seen those like really sad clowns was like, well, what if we make him into one of those? And I was like, nah. I really liked the one that stays more true to his original design. And I also remember drawing him a lot with like some teeth, like sharp teeth. So I decided, why not add that as well? And at first I was like, I don't know. I don't like it. We'll try something else. And I end up eventually going like right back to it. So he will have little sharp teeth. I'm just gonna have to figure out how to sculpt the teeth into his head without making it look kind of, weird. And also I remember drawing him with a cigar. He smokes cigars. So I had an idea to put a little hole under one of his teeth and build a like cigar onto a toothpick and make it to where I could take it out if I wanted to and like put it in his mouth. I thought it would be cute. I really hope that the idea works out, and hopefully the hole in his mouth won't be so visible. But that leads me to another thing. Where he broke his head, it still has his mouth. So I wouldn't be able to put the toothpick too far in there unless I completely bust his head off. And I really don't want to mess with glass like that. I'll figure it out. We'll see whenever we get there. Also, here I am playing around with his eye shape. I know that I said that he's more of a nervous kind of guy, but I didn't really like the wide-eyed expression with like the eyebrows and stuff. I may or may not go back to it, but I really like the droopy lids, and I really want to like color his eyelids and stuff like with that shiny. I'll show a picture up on the thing like that. And whenever it comes to like color for his face, I want to keep all of that the same way that he already had it. Same with his hair. Like I wanted his hair to be yellow, his nose to be red, the paint around his mouth to also be red. I'm also adding some like cheeks too. Like he didn't have that before, but I figured that would be cute, so I'm adding it. Also, here I am doing the shoes. I don't want to sculpt toes, so I'm making it where his shoe is just a regular shoe. Later on into the video though, I did add like little strap to his shoes. I felt like they were a little blank. I was like, oh, little straps, and I have a junk drawer. I added buttons to them as well, and they look super cute. It was just you'll see. So there it is, a little all over the place, but I understand it. That's how I do my blueprints for things. Now finally on to some sculpting. So where his foot broke, there was a huge hole in it. I just put tinfoil in there. Tinfoil saved my life and probably every other sculptor's life whenever it comes to project. I only learned about the tinfoil thing from my brother. Thanks for that hack, by the way. I could have just done some research like, how do you do this or make your stuff lighter and be able to dry all the way through. Nah, I don't think, but I'm not very good at that. But also another thing, whenever it comes to not thinking, I didn't have no sandpaper. I didn't sand his feet before I put the clay on there. I figured, since I'm putting it all around his foot, it probably won't matter. And I do plan to get some sandpaper tomorrow, along with toothpicks, some masks, some Mod Podge to like kind of seal in all the paint once I'm done with him. He's gonna look great. I can see it. The vision. I see the vision. It's gonna work out. I speed this last little bit up. It's just me like filling in his shoes and stuff. And the shoe on the left, I think, fell off. And it startled me because I don't have any string to like restring his foot back onto his leg, so he would have been footless. The string that he has that is connecting his feet and his hands and his neck is the only string that I got. I mean, I could go buy more, but I don't know how to restring them. He has holes in his like feet. I've seen it whenever his foot fell off. It's like, huh. Now the question is, how do I do it? Like, I could look it up, but I probably don't have the needles for it either, and I don't know where to find the needles for something like this. I'm not gonna stress about it too much though, because I got it fixed, and I don't think his foot will fall off again. So I mean, if it does, I'll fix it. I'll rubber band that thing onto him. And like I said, here I am just adding the buckles and the buttons. You'll probably see the junk drawer pop in for like, I don't know, maybe 3 seconds. There were 3 different buttons. There was a little brown one, a little like almost translucent white one, and then a pink one. I went with the brown one because it had 4 holes instead of 2, and I felt like the pink one was just like, I don't know, too slick and shiny, and I didn't have sandpaper, so I felt like I wouldn't have been able to paint it. But look how cute they are. Also, I did like add some lines to it, try to, I don't know, make the shoe look like it had strings, but I didn't like it. I say strings, but I really don't know what that was. Alright, so I have just woke up. This is day 2, and the shoes are dry, but there are cracks. Ooh, the blur. There are cracks in every little spot, even the back. So I'm gonna fix those today. And I've already checked his clothes, and they're still a little damp, so I'm gonna keep them there till I'm completely done with him and his head and his shoes. Okay, so I had some stuff delivered. I got toothpicks, gloves, Mod Podge, sandpaper, probably not the right kind, and then masks. But it'll work. All of that stuff will work, even if it ain't the right stuff. So I was gonna use the gloves for real, but I hated the way that it felt. So I was like, I'll just remember to moisturize after I get done using the clay, because the only reason why I bought the gloves in the first place was because anytime I'd use the clay, it made it feel like my skin felt like leather and stuff, and it would like really dry it out. So here I am filling in the crack, trying to fix them, and my phone while filming this bit was like on 15%, so it died, and I didn't get all of the footage in me smoothing everything out. So then I just decided to do the rest of it off camera. They are a bit lumpy in some spots, but I don't really mind it. It's not like I'm selling this little guy or anything. He's for me, so I don't care if he looks a little messed up. What I'm really here for is the process and getting him from looking like I got him out of a dumpster to brand new. For day, I think 5 from working on this little guy, I didn't really get much for him done. I was helping my mama out with like working on her garden and her chicken coop, but I did find some roly-polies in the process, and they were pretty cute. I also really enjoyed working outside instead of being cooped up working on this little clown doll the whole day. It was pretty refreshing to go out and touch grass. For today, I feel like I made a lot of progress, especially with the head. I really like how it turned out, and at first I was kind of nervous because the way that I had everything placed, it made his hair look like a soccer ball. I was like, well, how am I supposed to fix this? So if you can hear that downstairs, that is the vacuum cleaner. So I put it all together and like squished it up and was like, all right, this is working. And then I smoothed it all out. What I'm nervous about though is that it's gonna crack like an every single spot possible. Like his head's just gonna crack so much that it's gonna fall apart. But I'll just have to wait until tomorrow to figure it out and then sand it and stuff. I might do a lot of stuff off camera, but you know. Also during this, his leg fell off and I almost forgot to make his little cigar, so I had to do that last minute. He will get his foot back, trust me. It's just I plan to paint it off of it. I plan to take his other foot off as well and paint it. And yes, I did have to rubber band his feet and his hands back onto his body because that one foot just kept on falling off, so I figured why not just do the rest of them that way so we don't have to worry about them falling off as well. So here I am a few days into the future, new setup, so sorry about the lighting if that like bugs y'all. It's early in the morning whenever I got started on the feet. Now the feet did have some small cracks in them and I wanted to fix that before I started painting them, so that's what I'm doing here. Nothing special. I figure why that one foot was more damaged than the other, because the other one didn't have a spot on it. It just needed a little bit of sanding. I did drop him, not from any place high. Like I sat him down a little too violently and it like cracked a bit, so my fault. But after all this, I plan to paint them red and the little button is gonna be yellow, and like the bottom of the shoe to pay tribute to like the blue on his shoes, I'm just gonna paint them blue. So yellow, red, and blue, primary color. I'm sure it'll look nice. You'll see. So here I am painting them. Nothing special. It did take me a while to actually paint them and finish them up and seal them. I did do a lot lot, like, well, not a lot off camera, but I painted them white off camera, and then I painted the buttons and then put Mod Podge on them off camera as well. They were actually a lot of fun to paint. I was worried that they weren't going to look good. They are a little janky in some spots. I mean, especially if you like get up close and personal with them, but I still like them. I still like how they turned out. They're very cutesy. Also, I did kind of change my mind whenever it come to like the strap. I was just going to paint the whole shoe red, but I didn't want it to look basic, I guess. So here I am now painting his hair, and then after that I paint his hat, which he was pretty easy to paint. I did kind of get nervous throughout the whole thing, especially whenever it come to working on his face. Like, I had to get up close and personal with this little guy just to actually finish him. But here we go. I hope y'all are ready for the final product, because I know I'm super excited to show you guys. Ta-da! Here he is. I'm actually very giddy about this. Y'all ain't got no idea. He's such a cutie pie, alright? I'll give y'all 360, or at least try to, from like this to this to this to this to finally this. I love him. And so glad that this won, and I'm so glad that y'all stuck around this long for this video and watched this whole thing. Like, man, how long did it take me to fix this guy? A week or something? Maybe 2? I don't know. But anyways, thank you all for 300 subs and some. I checked it. And also, this person right here, I'm pretty sure was the 300th subscriber, so thank you to whoever this Romeo person is. Shout out to Romeo. Alright, I'm pretty sure he was the one that was, or they, or she, I don't know. I'm pretty sure they were the ones that were like, yeah, I'm gonna be the 300th. So thank y'all so much. I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I hope that y'all are having a lovely day or night wherever you guys are. Yeah, that's it. Bye guys. Bye.